Here's a question. How much did your wedding night cost? 15 grand? 30? 50? Well, what do you think about spending $100,000 for a lavish multi-night affair? Well, a new documentary airing this weekend brings us into the world of what is becoming more and more the norm of the traditional Indian wedding in Vancouver and Surrey. Here's a preview.
Indian weddings are a huge, huge event, so they're a week long. The budgets are extravagant. Everything's above and beyond. $100,000 is average now.
With Indian weddings, it's not just about the couple getting married, it's about the families coming together.
I actually wanted to have a big, fat Indian wedding.
You could have a very simple job, your parents are just regular people, but you could be walking around with a $25,000 ring.
The whole idea was we wanted to bring Las Vegas-style parties to Surrey, BC.
I think it's going to be the survival of the fittest. The people that don't get exhausted by the game are going to last.
I love attending these weddings. I love being a guest, but to have the responsibility of being a bride, it's a lot on your shoulders.
So, hey, we've got the producer of the film, Bal Brach, our very own Bal Brach, joining us right now. And so, Bal, start just by giving me a sense of the traditional Indian wedding, how big it has become.
It's a 4 or 5 day event usually. There's all types of events. So you've got the Maya ceremony, which is a ceremony the night before the wedding. Then you've got a henna party, a ladies party. So these are multiple day events. And now couples are doing their wedding and reception on separate days. So easily it's a week worth of events. And over the years in Surrey, the demand is just there. So these vendors have now come up with different types of concepts. You know, there's a hall owner that's now bringing Las Vegas style parties to Surrey, BC, right, because clients are asking for bigger and more interesting and better looking venues.
And bigger and better means more and more expensive, of course. And I'm looking just at the clothing right now, right? It's beautiful stuff. But I think we have a clip that we're going to throw to. It's from the documentary, and set this up
And
for
so
me.
this is the designer Dave Singh. He came from India in 2008, set up shop in his basement, had about 12 clients in his first year. This year he's doing 400 brides, and he's opened up a second location in California and a third one in Toronto. And he says he's getting bridal trousseaux coming in with mother-in-law, sister-in-law, all these types of, you need clothing for each of these days.
Right,
People are spending $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 on clothing.
Okay, let's have a listen.
They would spend like $30,000 on outfits only. There is 3 to 4 outfits for the bride, 2 to 3 outfits for the groom, 5 to 6 bridesmaids, 5 to 6 groomsmen, mother of the bride, mother of the groom, father of the bride, father of the groom, brothers, right? So basically, an average Indian bridal party, there will be at least 20 to 30 members.
My God, that's a lot of clothes that you'd have to buy. And I mean, you've said it a few times now. They've gotten bigger and bigger and better and better. But why? Why the change?
So all these immigrants, the families, my parents, they came to Canada in the 60s, 70s, 80s. Now their kids are growing up, and it seems to all be happening at once. So they've been saving since these kids were born, because if you talk to any Indian parent, including my own, they say it's their duty to get our child married. We want to pay for this. Other than education, it's the wedding that is their biggest goal for their child. So they've saved all this money, and they're willing to spend it. They say it's a privilege for them.
Has it spiraled out of control almost?
There are some people that are questioning that.
Right?
There are some people, and that's what the documentary looks at too. Others who say this commercialization is taking away from the meaning of it. So we sort of examine some of that as well. And then this couple that's featured in the doc, there's one that wants a big wedding, one that wants a small one, and they have to navigate sort of what the parents want versus what they want, and what kind of a wedding they end up having. It's quite interesting. I was surprised to see the reaction.
Just on that front, let's go ahead and roll the next clip, and you folks at home can listen to it.
The whole idea was we wanted to bring Las Vegas-style parties to Surrey, BC. We spent so much money on building the venue because it's what it's become. Yeah. Because the clients want more. They want bigger, they want better, and they want to outdo the next person.
It's what it's become. Maybe the follow-up to that is it worth it for them in the end?
And I couldn't get a lot of couples so I talked to people off the record who had said, I had this big fat wedding, but I don't think it was worth it. No one was willing to say that on camera. But then there's others, like the couple that's featured in the doc, who loved it. That's what they wanted. So you kind of hear the back and forth. This hall owner was really interesting. He had a story he told me about a couple that came to look, and a groom wanted to bring a helicopter to land on the balcony. He went as far to bring an aviation expert to check out the size of the balcony. Eventually didn't get the permit for it, but people are trying to think of newer and more creative ways to make their entrance into reception. So these hall owners have to keep up with that sort of client demand. demand and
Now,
stay competitive.
I know that all of this is personal for you too, right? Because first of all, congratulations. You recently got married.
A year and a half ago,
A year and a half.
yeah.
That's
All
recent
through the
enough.
process of this, yes.
And tell me a little bit about that, because you did not opt for the, sort of traditional.
No, this is us in Jamaica. My parents walking me down the aisle.
beautiful.
We have the sand in our toes, and I wanted a nice, small, intimate wedding, but it was a negotiation. Our parents, both sets, because my husband is Indian, they wanted to throw a party here or do something, have a bigger wedding, but it was a back and forth, even over the guest list, because they wanted to invite all of their friends and family, because that is their village that they remember. So we went back and forth and ended up settling on 85 people in Jamaica for a week. And that
A tiny wedding by Indians, by Chinese standards too,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
I mean,
So 85 to me still felt kind of big, but my parents were like, this is really small. But at the end of it, both sides of the family got to know each other, those deep family bonds and the values. The reason why most of these parents are paying for these weddings is for their kids to sort of start that family life. We had all of that in that week-long celebration. So I found the meaning in it for myself.
and dealing with that pressure, was that?
That was the interesting part at the beginning. So
Sure.
the guest list was the hard part, and the location and the cost of it. Not everybody could afford it, so we had to be okay with that. Certain people weren't going to be able to come, and we had to say, well, that's okay, we're not, upset about it. But even my father-in-law said when we came back, can I throw you a reception? I'd like to invite my few hundred family and friends. And we're like, Dad, no, let's not. So we settled on a prayer service instead when we came back, something a little smaller.
Oh boy, what a fascinating subject for a documentary. And remind us how people can catch it.
7 o'clock Saturday on CBC.
Excellent. Bal Brach, thanks so much.
Thank you.